Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be talking to you about a job position as a bridge system engineer. And the title, as you can see, it's so you suck or hate programming but you want to work IT in Japan. And the reason I want to talk about this is that there are a lot of people in Japan who have some type of IT, let's say, literacy, or they have some interest in programming and coding, but maybe they suck at it, or maybe they really don't want to do it as their full-time job, but they want to be around it. So this video is targeted to those people, or maybe you've been doing it for quite a few years and you want to get out. And there are some people like that where they do enjoy coding, but only as their hobby, because maybe it's quite a difficult full-time career in software engineering is not an easy career. It's quite difficult. It's quite stressful for many people. The bridge system engineer career might be for you. So please watch this video and let me know what you think. So a bit clickbaity with the images at the bottom here, with a Wojak making zero yen per month to 300,000 yen per month, and then 600,000 yen per month. And these are not crazy numbers. I've seen it around. And why can I say that? It's because I also have experience as a bridge system engineer in Japan. I am currently a web developer. I'm a full stack web developer for the past 8 years. But during the time when I was working in companies, or I was trying to do my little, not side hustle, but I tried to do many things. So I have experience with offshore development and bridge system engineering between Japan and Vietnam. So I worked around 6 months for a Vietnamese software React specialization company. Prior to that, I also worked with this company and a few others with offshore web development and being the middleman. Let's say the middle engineer. And the middle engineer can mean that I do code certain parts, or it may not mean I code certain parts, and maybe the offshore engineers code everything. So I'll try and discuss more in this video about how this works. So I don't have a really nice way to show you how BRSE engineer works, but what we'll start with is you have a client that has a project, an IT project. You're the company, you take that project, you have a project manager, which directly would just say has constant meetings with the client and gets feedback. Then that project manager will be working with a bridge system engineer. A bridge system engineer won't be exactly coding or making the project. He'll be making sure that whatever the project manager says, or whatever your task manager says, if you're using some type of, you're probably using a task manager, you have to convey, portray, or translate, or wherever way you can do it with an outsourcing company's engineer. And I don't have it written here, but that outsourcing company is, in this case, a bridge system engineer overseas. And in most cases, these overseas companies charge less than your local markets. But this is just a real simple illustration here of where you stand within a project, within an IT project. So I hope that's quite simple to understand. Some parts might be obvious for me, but I understand that people might be new to some of these concepts, or they're very simple concepts. In many cases, these outsourcing companies do not speak Japanese, and some of them probably don't even speak many of them probably don't even speak English, which is why you need someone in the middle who can understand both languages at a professional level. So the reason I make this video as well is that there's a lot of, I get annoyed a lot. Okay, so I'm getting old. I'm 36, turning 37. I'm quite straight up. I don't sugarcoat. So who is this video for? There are boot camps. So if you completed a boot camp, but you feel, you know what, I'm not an engineer, I never want to be one, but I just took it to see what it's about, and I wanted to open up some doors into the IT world, then I believe that a bridge system engineer might be fine for you. And this is not a knock on these boot camps. I think they are great to get your hands dirty, get your hands into the actual code. But the reason I say that, you can't just pass one of these boot camps and think, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna get that. I want to get 6 figures, man. And it's something, I think, because you saw it in Silicon Valley, you think it happens in Tokyo. Maybe you know a guy, okay? But I've been working for over 8 years now in all types of companies and all types of sizes, and I've never seen anyone directly come from one of these boot camps unless they were really hardcore into coding prior to the boot camp, or during it they went, or they're just really smart guys too. So, but in most cases, most people shouldn't be coding. There are opportunities for people who can understand the programming side, but also have good interpersonal skills, communication skills. Maybe you have a likable character, right? These are quite important things. The next type of person is someone who runs around Udemy doing all the courses, and they show, Tyron, look at my projects, and it's like, just look, you're not serious about it, but I'm saying you're not serious, but you're acting like it's amazing that you made a calculator or something. It's just stop it. No, don't stop it. Do something with it, but do not do the whole look, I made an e-commerce website that you just copied from a tutorial on YouTube. It's useless. I'm saving you a lot of time from applying for jobs and feeling like an idiot because no one's talking to you. You either do the hard yards in programming and IT, you either do the hard yards, or you don't, or you do something else. Okay? It's a bit of a rant on this one. And another one is like, so if you're doing all these like Udemy courses and all these courses, it's more or less just watching and copy pasting and putting on your GitHub and going, look, I made a React app. Cool, that's fine. It's not easy anyway. That itself is not easy probably. But unless you have like 1 year of coding 5 hours a day, I personally, I wouldn't accept that person in general into a project that I'm working on. It's more of you're more of a liability, and it's just you get in everyone's way. The type of person who might be good for this is, you have you play around with all the libraries and all the tech, and you've got all the stickers on your MacBook, but you don't actually make anything. You just do all the you do all the short courses and go, oh yeah, that's cool. I like the way that React they're removing hooks and they're going to use signals, but you never make anything. That's fine. You can use that ability as a bridge system engineer, because you got to understand what's happening, but you don't have to actually make it. And you have to be able to explain it to the client or explain it to the devs what you want. And when the devs say, okay, when we upgraded Vue to options APIs, there are many files that have to be updated. These are the files it's going to take 10 hours, and then you have to understand that and say that to your project manager. You see what I'm saying here? You guys are not unemployable, but most of you aren't, but some of you might be. And of course the last one, you either have N2 or there's so many guys around this channel, and I've met who have really highly skilled Japanese level. So a mix of some of these, you're good to go. Before I show you how the business model works with bridge system engineering, I'd like to show you here just how a generic IT project would go. You have companies on the left. It has the funds to pay for a project. They get the middleman company. That middleman company can be anything from a agency, middle-sized company, a small-sized IT company. They'll get that. This is basically the monthly cost they charge for an engineer. Let's say it's 6 months, 120 man a month for each engineer. And in this case, I'm the freelance engineer, and they'll charge me 80 man. They'll pocket the 40 man. I mean, not all cases are like this. This is just one example. And this here is an example of how an offshore development might work. So you have all the companies on your left charging the middleman company, and maybe that middleman company doesn't need to have engineers, what you could do is just have a bridge system engineer, maybe a project manager. That bridge system engineer can get paid significantly less because they're not, it's a lot easier to find someone with a low technical skills but with good communication than it is to find with the opposite, a fully skilled engineer. If that makes sense, you know what I mean. So a bridge system engineer can get paid 40 man a month, for example, and then that person can either be working with engineers that speak English, and then let's say the project manager or the manager speaks Japanese. There's a lot of Indian offshore companies that also work still in Japan. So I'm guessing, I don't know the language you guys speak, so maybe Hindi or whatever your local, maybe it's local dialects, I don't know. And then also the one I worked on quite a bit was with Vietnam. And this is I think maybe before India was one of the largest, I'm not sure how India is working with Japan right now, but Vietnam is probably where most of the IT offshore is going from Japan. I think there are some other countries in Southeast Asia. I think Thai is a bit more expensive. Laos is cheaper. I don't know if the infrastructure is there. But anyway, so you're a bridge system engineer and you're working with an offshore company, and maybe, okay, they're not charging the engineer 40 man, they're charging the company 40 man, and then that local engineer will be getting less than half. Maybe he's getting this much. You can play around with the numbers here, right? And the company, I mean, I'll make a video about this later, but instead of having to find me or someone else to code the whole thing straight away, it might be easier for some of these companies just to have BRSE engineers or BRSE managers, and then they can scale out the projects depending on, they don't have to have high cost of holding engineers. They can hold BRSEs, bridge system engineers, and just hire them when they need them. Okay, maybe they just need the guy for 6 months, so they can sign a 6-month contract with this company, have that engineer there. Then the 6 months over, they just remove it. Okay, and then when you get when this middleman company, I don't know what you're meant to, I don't know the proper business term for it. This middleman company can adjust according to the market. I just want to talk a bit about why offshore skilled workers are needed. And I think it's not, the question isn't why offshore skilled workers are needed, is that there is an IT shortage in Japan, as in many other countries, but in Japan it's not just there is a shortage, is that it's difficult for them to get skilled workers to come for many reasons I'd like to quickly say now. But of course we have to talk about this one here. The population is of course the population is decreasing, and as you have a population decreasing in Japan, you have a lot of money still. I mean, they have money. It's a third or fourth economy, probably fourth now. And then they have a lot of population decreasing. They have a lot of young people not getting into IT, so I believe. And then let me explain this one. So because population is decreasing, there are less workers steadily, and then there's a lot of elderly, and there's also a problem where companies might find it more difficult to replace the previous generation of workers. That's one of them. Another one I think is the major one is that they are trying to, people make fun of Japan because it's strange they still use some people say fax machines, and you probably do, or maybe they still use stamps. So going from the paper world or the physical world to digital world is a transformation that's still happening right now, and you can see it around Japan. It's strange because it's a mixture of high tech and no tech areas. So they have all the greatest tech, but they also have areas where there's low tech, and that digital transformation requires engineers of all sorts, software, hardware. I think there's the only two types. Network. So anyway, that is why they don't have enough. Okay, I'm all over the place, but stay with me. Now, the difference with, let's say, New Zealand and Australia is this part here. For a country of 120 or 30 million now, it says number of foreign residents in Japan rise to a record of 3.2 million. So that's much under the 3% of foreign residents, which means that they're not bringing in a ton of workers at once, right? I think in Western countries like Canada, it's probably over 10, probably 15% or so. So Japan doesn't let in a whole bunch of workers so easily, a lot of skilled workers so easily. That's one of them. What's one of the issues? If you are a skilled worker from overseas, you must learn Japanese and Japanese culture to work in Japan. So it's not just Japan doesn't want, it's also that foreigners don't want to adapt or learn. So of these issues, which is why I say Japan is, in some ways, I think it's easy mode, because once you're here, you are somehow protected. I have to make a video about this because it's quite interesting. I think Japan is easy mode compared to Western countries. So, okay, that was a bit of a mess. So what that means is that you can't just suddenly you can't just suddenly make whatever 100,000 engineers just like that. Japan can't just open the floodgates. It never has in history, and my opinion, it never will. Which means that this kind of job, BRSE or something like this, is a great opportunity for foreigners in Japan who speak decent Japanese and just have a bit of a tech background. So I just want to quickly go over day-to-day tasks, what you'll be doing most of the time. So you'll be in sprint meetings, right? Yeah, sprint meetings or meetings in general, internal and external. You'll be a part of the ticket management, whatever they're using, whatever software they're using, you'll be in there checking the tasks. Let's say that most people are using now some type of agile or software management system. You'll be either managing it yourself or managing it together with a project manager. You will be reading code to some extent and explaining, because some things the project manager might have to know, and it just helps so much if you can explain code. Let's say something's delayed. Let's say an API is too slow. You have to explain why. You might have to explain something about the database. Maybe they have to upgrade a certain type of database on the AWS, and that also means you might have to interpret or translate. So another one here is testing. You might have to manually test a lot of functionalities, because you're the person who gets in trouble, not the engineers. And then you might have to run that code locally if it's a API. If it's a front end app, you have to run that locally. This is some of the things you have to do on a day-to-day task. Okay, so that's my video on bridge system engineer. It's kind of half-assed, sorry. It's late night and just enjoying some wine, and just wanted to get this out there as a message, and let me know what you think. Is this something that you could do? Are you currently an engineer, you're just not really liking it? It's understandable, but you like to be around the projects and you like to work with other people. This is a great option for you. Please look around and find these jobs, and if not, approach companies and ask them if you can become a bridge system engineer. That might be a video for another time, but anyway, that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Like, sub, LinkedIn, Discord, and yeah, see you next time.